Hello, friends of the channel. I am back with the traditional across-the-board view, which I know is favored by a lot of viewers. Today, I'm going to revisit a complicated line in the double corner opening, one that I sort of brushed past when I first covered it. I think many of you will appreciate seeing this variation, and especially the puzzle at the end that results in some pretty great tactical play. So let's get into it. Okay, let's play it out. So as I mentioned, the opening is the double corner, and the next two moves are 22-17 and 6-9. This particular game took place in 1949 between Cantor handling the red pieces and Tinsley handling the white pieces. So you're going to see it from the greatest player of all time's perspective. So Tinsley goes 17-13 next, and then 1-6. You'll notice that this transposition is the same as 9-14, 22-17, 5-9, 17-13, and 1-5. It's the same exact position. Tinsley goes 25-22, and then we have the 2-for-2 exchange next. Cantor plays 10-15 next, which is probably best. And then this 30-25 move was known at the time, but Tinsley goes 24-19, and it does later transposition into that same 30-25 move, but this move was taken first. (7-10), and then 22-18 is a little bit weaker, so instead Tinsley plays 22-17, attacking the double corner further. 11-15, the cover up with 27-24, now forcing 5-9 to prevent this exposed column here from getting broken up. Now 30-25, 8-11, 25-21, 11-16. Now this is maybe starting to become a little bit more familiar to you all after the 24-20 breakup. And now 3-8 to go a piece ahead. And now 23-18. And this is where I brushed off this somewhat natural but still losing move in my previous video, which I will share the link and you can see what this whole sequence looks like. This is the move I'm going to cover today. Of course, 15-19, 31-26, and 4-8 is the proper drawing sequence, and you can check out that video to see what that looks like in full. But let's talk about this 12-16. So I brushed past it. I didn't give it much thought, but it's a little bit tougher than it looks, and there's a real spectacular shot that you can execute from white, and that's what I'm going to show here. So after the 12-16, we have the capture, and now 10-15 to again block any further advancement from white on this side of the board. What white plays next is this 32-27 move. Maybe not super natural, but it's the best move on the board. Red can go 16-20 next, really preventing white from making any other move on the board except for 27-23. And that's what it does here. And now red is just going to further eliminate the white back row and walk in to get a king. White now is going to attack this piece on 4, and it does that by going 23-18 next. Red is going to crown, and in the game Tinsley played 17-14 and Cantor resigned. But there's a little bit more to this position than meets the eye. And let's talk about that next. So Cantor resigned here playing the red pieces. But many years later, in the 1971 Lakeside tournament, Walter Hellman actually brought up this position during the evening session in front of a number of players and actually said there is more than meets the eye here. There's actually a pretty outstanding position that White can get into, and I think you'll all enjoy it here. So after Tinsley's 17-14, Red can move the king up to square 27, and then White can capture this piece, and now White is a piece ahead. Red can go 6-10 next, trying to bind up this piece on 18 and cause some issues in the single corner. But instead, White is just going to get a king, leaving the piece completely vulnerable on 18, and Red is going to attack it right now. And I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, White has completely given up the advantage, and it might even be in a really tough spot here. But instead, White has something up its sleeve. And it goes back to square 5. Red captures the piece on 18. And now we have the star move of all star moves, and that is this 13-9. And after this move is played, Red is completely hopeless. Richard Fortman sent this position to a number of his friends, including Harry Lieberman, who described it as the prettiest position he's ever seen in the game of checkers. So I'm going to pause here. Please set up this position on your own boards and just see all of the combinations that White can execute here. So hopefully you all have taken a look and seen what White can do, but let's play out the two most logical options here. Obviously, Red can't move either of its back row pieces because it'll get captured and the game will be over. So what happens if Red maybe tries to escape with 15-19? Well, if it does that, White is going to execute a quadruple jump, something very rare in checkers. And if you can see the quadruple jump in this position, you are a very strong player. Let's play it out. White is going to pitch 21-17. Red king takes it. White is going to pitch again 11-8. And now we have the quadruple jump with the 9-6. And I'm sure all of you can see this now. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the game is completely over with a spectacular finish. But let's set up this position again in case the Red king moves this time instead of 15-19. Okay, so you've seen what happens if Red goes 15-19, but what happens if it plays its king to attack the piece on 22? Well, White will still win, and it can execute the win by going 21-17 next, followed by 17-14, and then once again 9-6, and we have the triple jump, and White will ultimately have first position on the board and win the game. Ultimately, the Red king will be trapped in this corner, White will get another king, and then it will be first position, which I also talk about in another video. I hope you all enjoyed seeing this variation. The correct sequence of moves has been a thorn in the side of many experts over the years, so it's always good to get a good refresher. Also, I'd like to note that a friend of the channel, Kim Willis, will be hosting a live stream checker event on her YouTube channel this Sunday evening. I'll post a link to her channel in the description if you'd like to check it out. Thank you, as always, for watching.